Void Mage Gamer is now partnered with Flipside Gaming. So you can use the promo code on their website, all caps, Void Mage, to get 10% off all orders $10 or more. It's a great way that you can support both Flipside Gaming and Void Mage Gamer's channel. Hello guys, welcome back. Here to announce some news for Commander fans, and also people looking forward to whatever fall set we're going to get. It has been announced, Throne of Eldraine. It's going to have a high fantasy theme, so castles, dragons, knights in armor. Magic the Gathering has had this kind of setting before, but it's going to be more about fairy tales, so I'm not exactly sure what to expect. It's going to have the typical fantasy setting though. The cool thing though is that we have a new product announcement. We're going to be getting Brawl decks. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Brawl is basically standard Commander, so it's not an eternal format, but you basically follow all of the same rules in the Commander format. So you have your Commander, you have your 99 card deck, and what they did with Throne of Eldraine is that they have Commander specific cards included. I don't know how this is going to interact in terms of like limited and standard, but we have an example here with one of the two cards that's been spoiled, Arcane Signet. It's just a 2-mana artifact, taps to add 1 mana of any color in your Commander's color identity, which is just a freaking awesome card to have. This could be something that they just printed in Commander 2019, but to actually have this in the fall set just proves that they're focusing more and more on Commander every year, and we don't necessarily need a Commander product release to support the format. But this card is amazing. Felwar Stone is a staple in the format. This is arguably a better Felwar Stone. It only taps for mana of your Commander's color identity. That's the only reason why I say that, but still, if you're into 2-mana artifacts or just mana fixing in general, this is what I was talking about. We don't necessarily need expensive land reprints, we just need good Commander lands, and the best way to do that without pissing off any collectors is to just make brand new artifacts, make brand new lands that give us all the mana fixing we want. Just have it be Commander specific, so it has no implication on Legacy or Vintage, and you don't even have to worry about how it impacts other formats because it only specifies Commander. So really good design here. Pretty much the only thing they had to do right to support the Commander format, in my opinion. Now, we have another card here spoiled. It's a pretty spicy one. Chulainn, Teller of Tales. I really love the looks of this card. You have a floating book, very magical, kind of goes with the fairy tale theme from what we can expect of Eldraine. It's 5 mana in Bant colors, which Bant has had some pretty good options like Derevi and Arcades, but it could of course always use more support, especially with 3-color Commander options. After a half a year or so just focusing on Ravnica, giving us more support in 3 colors is definitely needed. Vigilance, whenever you cast a creature spell, you draw a card, then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield, which is just what they're doing now with land strategies. It's just about a solid value engine, and we saw this with Tatiova, the new Omnath, where just playing lands gets you more value. Well, in this case, playing creatures gets you more card draw, which then gets you more lands into play. And it's not even restricted, so all you really need to do is just have something like a White Mane Lion with a bunch of mana open. You could play this over and over again, bounce it back to your hand. You get to keep drawing cards, putting lands into play. You could keep doing this for a while and just continue to draw cards and ramp yourself up. Really deadly combination there. Am I going to give it points for creativity? Probably not, because we have the land strategy. They're kind of beating a dead horse here. It's going to be a powerful Commander option, no doubt about it. But going back to what I mentioned with Brawl decks, this is going to be one of the Commanders for the Brawl decks. So you're going to have a pre-constructed product here, very similar to the Commander decks I would imagine, but tailored for the standard rotation. I am on board with this idea, mostly because I know Brawl as a format didn't really do so well. You had some popularity with it, but I think the fact that it didn't really have any kind of playability on Magic Arena, and people just saw it as a standard rotation Commander, forcing you to play with a constantly changing deck with whatever new set's going to come out, and dropping cards that rotate out of standard. That's not a lot of fun. A lot of people like holding on to their Commander decks, so having a Brawl deck, I fully expect Commander players to just buy these and build around them in the typical Eternal format way that you would build a Commander deck. In a way, Brawl is basically just Commander, only really specific on a rotation. It's pretty much the same exact game you're going to play. Although I don't like Brawl, I viewed it as more of a way for Wizards to make more money, trying to fuse standard rotations with Commander. I do like the concept of a pre-constructed deck to actually give you something to do if you wanted to play Brawl, but you didn't want to focus on building a standard legal deck for that whole rotation. Now, the next thing to talk about is Mark Rosewater. I like reading some of his stuff because it's kind of hilarious. He thinks he's doing something revolutionary here by changing the formula with booster packs. One of the bigger things he announced was there's going to be a difference between packs now. You have theme packs, you have draft packs, and then you have collector's packs. The themes here are going to be kind of like what they did with Ravnica, but it looks like it's going to be on single colors, so nothing really new there. And you have the typical draft booster that everybody uses, everybody plays with for limited. Nothing about that changes. And the collector's pack is going to be kind of like the Mythic editions, which is funny how he's announcing this as something new when they've been doing this for the past year. And the idea here is that he's trying to serve different players, which usually never really works out well, especially with the whole collector's pack thing where he says it could be $20 to $25 a pack for one of these things, and you're supposed to be getting these exclusive cards, borderless featured planeswalkers. It sounds nice until you realize it's the same exact thing they did in the comic book industry, and it didn't really work out well then. Slapping the collector's label onto something doesn't magically just increase its intrinsic value. All you do is make it easier for people to get these cards anyway. All they have to do is just pay $20 to $25, so they could still get the same cards, maybe not the borderless ones, from the draft booster packs. The more of these masterpieces, collector's items that there are, the less actual value you're putting into these products, because that's the whole point of a collector's item, is that not everybody has them. If you're printing these special shiny foil versions of cards, and you've been doing this for every set now since Battle for Zendikar, nothing really feels unique about them, therefore the consumer's not going to feel that they're unique, and you have a large portion of people that are probably going to ignore this anyway, because they care more about the actual game rather than the collecting aspect of it. Because the only cards that are actually really worth anything are on the reserve list, because you're never going to get a reprint of them. Good intentions, I think it's just terrible reasoning, and I don't really expect this to appeal to anyone who's actually seriously collecting Magic cards. But the rest of the set looks cool though. I like the fantasy stuff, I like the Brawl decks, Chulane's pretty badass. You guys have a wonderful day. Void here signing off. See you all next video.